Hey everyone, this is Cutting Down the Nets. There are just 5 more Sundays of basketball before Selection Sunday. Man, what a time to be alive. Let's close out January with a bang. If you're new here, I want to highlight Bet Stamp, user ID CDTN, because I know that if I stumbled upon a YouTube show and saw that someone claimed to be 33-16 over the last 49 games, I would for sure think it's a hoax. That's why we have BetStamp. You can see everything I've played, when it was placed, at which sportsbook, and what the line bet was, what the closing line was, and what the result was. There is no hiding when you track your plays. And I would highly recommend whoever you're following, make sure that they track their plays. But we're having a good year. We're about 56%, over 600 games in the last 7 days have been scorching, been running like the sun. Will it continue? Find out today. So here's Monday's slate. Not much, 30 games or so, but a little beefed up from some of the dirty Monday slates you get in early January. Duke travels to Notre Dame. I have this about 2.5 points. Line is 5. Shot quality has these teams pretty close. So before you scoff at backing Notre Dame against the Duke team, just remember they did beat Kentucky at home, which seems actually impossible. But they got it done, and I think they closed as only 3-point dogs against Kentucky. My only pause here is the amount of value I'm getting. I see 2.6. So if this got up to 5.5, it's a maybe. 6, it's a probably. 6.5, yeah, I'm probably there. So I'm just going to be monitoring that one a bit. I don't think you ever need to bet against Duke early, as the line just always seems to creep up. Next game in yellow is TCU at Oklahoma. Data showing TCU as a play. They're getting 5.5. The KenPom number is 6, so we could get back up to 6. Shot quality has these teams nearly identical. Both teams are sloppy, but OU's forcing turnovers a bit more. TCU can force them as well, but Oklahoma's forcing them a bit more. So my only pause here is I'm under kind of my threshold I prefer, which is at least a possession, so at least 3.5 points. And 2, Oklahoma just feels like that buy low team that I just don't want to be betting against Oklahoma unless I've got a super juicy number. So I think it's very similar to the Notre Dame scenario. I want to be north of 2 possessions to get really interested, and we'll just monitor, and we're not going to force anything. Wofford and Mercer showed as a play, although pretty thin play. That difference in shot quality scares me, but these teams are very similar. They're going to shoot a lot of threes. They're both going to make a lot of threes. And they have both been just torched by 3-pointers. So should be a high variance game. Couple of that with turnover concerns from Mercer here, as well as the shot quality disparity, and I'm just not personally going to go there. Drexel at UNC Wilmington. We all know UNC Wilmington is way overvalued in the market after 11 straight W's, but maybe, just maybe, Drexel isn't that good. Shot quality favors Drexel here. UNC Wilmington is at home, but with UNC Wilmington being a buy high at this point, I mean you're calling top likely, and then no clear matchup edges, the shot quality disparity. Yeah, I don't feel like riding Wilmington here, and that definitely feels like a trap with the short number. Hey, we got some green games, although getting down in the dumpsters as we like to do on Cutting Down the Nets. So why do I like Southern over Jackson State? So their efficiencies have Southern as a 5-point projection, and it's a pickup. KenPom has Southern by 1. So Southern 269 in shot quality, Jackson State 353. The big key, like most teams like this, they are very sloppy. The differences here is Southern plays fast, Jackson State plays slow. But Southern has a massive turnover edge here. I think Southern forces turnovers at the 5th highest rate, and Jackson State coughs up the ball quite easily. Again, Southern turns it over themselves. You'll see these games where it's like, hey, they forced 21 turnovers, but they also had 16 themselves, and those edges get eroded a lot. But I see the value. I like the shot quality and a matchup edge. Boom, green for me. Eastern Washington at Weber State. Weber State is the hottest team in the Big Sky, and they've kind of got their tough games out of the way. So, kind of on cruise control at this point. They're going to be hosting Eastern Washington. But here's what I like about the win streak by Weber. They've done it in a way that doesn't really inflate their profile. Like, I don't know, they've won 6-7 games in a row. But you'll see adjusted efficiencies for those games as like, yeah, 109 offense, 104 defense. That's not good. So I think these wins are empty is where I'm leaning here. Shot quality obviously favors Weber, 140 in the 104 offense. Eastern Washington, 222. Also some turnover concerns for Eastern Washington. But I think you get a sell high on Weber, but we're going to need Eastern Washington to exploit the perimeter. Now, for the year, Eastern Washington, good outside shooting team. That has been the area where Weber has been beaten, is on the perimeter. And, 3 possessions is a lot. And you can kind of see that KenPom's at 9, Torvik 7.5. And then my efficiencies are 4.5. So a lot of value there. Next up, we have Morgan State, team 324 in shot quality. First Maryland Eastern Shore, 307 shot quality. Look, I get excited when I see edges, and then when these games play out between two bad teams, it can just be frustrating that they end up being very, very much high variance. Next up, Bethune-Cookman, Alabama A&M. These are, according to shot quality, the 2 worst teams in Division I. So while there's some value there, not going there. Pacific, Santa Clara. Pacific's probably a buy low right now. They have not been able to get it done. And Santa Clara is a bit overvalued, I'd say. Great basketball team. I mean, they're good. And shot quality agrees. They're 68th. They just put up a hell of a fight against the Dons over the weekend, and they've played good ball. So, Lane, 13.5 against a team that I think is a buy low is a place I don't want to go. Albany, Vermont. Vermont has just exploited their conference, just demolishing it offensively and defensively. Look, just not going to go there. South Dakota State, North Dakota. I'm not laying 17 on the road, even though shot quality has 103 for South Dakota State and 349 for North Dakota. And then once again, some bottom teams here. So I'm just going to play it safe. It's easy when you're winning to just be like, oh yeah, let's just might as well sprinkle some more in there. But I'm going to play it careful. I'm going to be a little more conservative here. So my pool as it stands right now, I've placed bets on Southern and Eastern Washington. And then I'm going to be looking at backing Notre Dame or TCU. So when you see monitoring like this is not, I'm trying to see what side I'm going to bet. I would bet the Notre Dame side. I am clearly just waiting for more value, and if it doesn't come, I sit out. I am clearly on the TCU side. I'm looking for more value, and if it doesn't come, I'm sitting out. So that is what things look like for this Monday, the final day of January. And then we're getting closer. You can almost smell March. This is Cutting Down the Nets. Have a good night.